Hello and welcome to More Memories of a Forgotten Town in Swindon Through the Years, a series of short features from the archives of Swindon Cable, the town's former cable operator, that I originally produced almost 20 years ago. Coming up, the very last edition of the second series. You may remember that in the first series we viewed images from the past with a short explanation. It had many people trying to guess where the location was and what it looked like today in the more modern view. So when it came to producing our second series, we thought it'd be more advantageous to compare the original view alongside a more modern view of the same location. As you can see behind me, our location is Old Town. In fact, it's the old Corn Exchange in Old Town. The feature you're about to see was produced back in 1999. Since then, of course, the building here has deteriorated even further following a fire at the site. It really is in a poor state of repair, although the future is now looking brighter with plans to completely overhaul the area and breathe new life into this neglected but important part of Swindon's history. Well, as we are about to see, road widening has played a major part in how Old Town has developed. We're about to compare the images of the past with those of the modern view. You'll see just what I mean as we turn back the clock and view the last in the second series of Swindon Through the Years. With the help of the Swindon Society, we're stepping back in time to Swindon of yesteryear. A selection of images then and now from around the town. We start with one of the oldest pictures in our series. Taken around 1890, this is the square in the High Street. This building next to the Old Town Hall has served as a wine merchant's and also as a bakery. Next to the building is the Mason's Arms public house. Over 100 years later, the scene shows the scars on the wall where the building once stood. As part of a road widening scheme, the building has been swept away, although the outline can still be seen on the end wall of the old Corn Exchange. It's the 1920s, and this is the Corn Exchange and the Town Hall in the square. The centre of the market town of High Swindon. There was once a market cross here, also pillory and stocks. The cattle market was originally held here on Mondays. The view today, some 70 years on, is essentially the same. The building was boarded up when we took the November 1999 view, but there's been talk of turning the building into a pub and nightclub, breathing new life into one of the town's historic buildings. A name with a history in Swindon, scurries in the High Street in 1950. The building in view facing the square was this mock Tudor building built in 1924 as a car showroom and garage. The same view today, 50 years later, shows us that the location has been dramatically changed. The car showrooms have gone and have been replaced by a large supermarket. The car park in the foreground still continues to be used. Finding a space these days, though, isn't quite so easy. Moving to a different angle, again the High Street and the corner of Newport Street, this time in 1960. This marked the terminus of the tram service, and an enamel plate was displayed on the wall of Gilbert's Furnishers. Gilbert's provides us with a reference point as we move from the 60s to the 90s. The outlook in the High Street has certainly changed. Once again, the large supermarket is clearly shown, replacing the original buildings. It's 1960, and we're on the corner of the High Street and Newport Street. It shows the original location for Harrison's newsagent and Farrington Whiteman auctioneers, another business closely related to the cattle market trade. Today, almost 40 years later, the same scene is unrecognisable. It provides us with another view of the Co-op supermarket. The road's been widened at this point, the early traffic lights having given way to a mini roundabout. The same junction, but this time looking down Newport Street in 1957. We're looking west. Swindon's first school stood in this street, on the site where a petrol station now stands. The modern view from 1999 shows there have been few changes to the buildings on the left of the street. Gilbert still trades from the same premises. This road was also widened. The buildings on the right were demolished in the mid-1980s to allow the supermarket to be built. To complete the set, we turn the camera in the opposite direction to catch a glimpse of the Mason's Arms in the High Street, seen here in 1950. This was the last premises in the High Street and was demolished back in 1969. The buildings here made way for more traffic. A wider road spelled the end, and now the Midland Bank and Townsend Solicitors occupy the offices on this side. And finally, this is Newport Street in 1900. We're looking east. After several fires, the thatched roofs were replaced by slate in the 1920s. The turning to the right led to the Swindon Town Station, used by trains of the Midland and South Western Junction Railway. We move forward a century. Today, all the original buildings seem to have disappeared. The land to the right, once the station approached, now forms part of the Signalway trading estate. The ancient cottages have long since gone, and the flow of traffic transforms the village view into a thriving town. Remembering the Swindon of yesteryear, with the help of the Swindon Society, bringing us a glimpse of Swindon through the years. And please remember, like, comment or share on Facebook and YouTube, and look out next time for more images of Swindon through the years.